God afternoon Europa, välkommen till ESC Fan TV. That's right, it's a Friday night and we're here to talk Denmark. That's right, the Dansk Melodi Grand Prix takes place this weekend, all the way from the Boxen Arena in Hanning. And we're really excited about it here. And tonight, we have a phenomenal panel that's going to walk you through all 8 entries. And we're going to tell you what we think. But as always, it's not really about what we think. It's about what you think. You watching live, you watching on demand, and also you in the chat room. So before we get to the chat room, I'd like to say hello to my panel this evening. And you may notice I'm flying solo. So sorry, Tom, I could do what the hell I like. Yes! Right, let's say hello first of all to Joe. How are you, Joe?
Hello, Stu, and everyone. I'm doing really well, actually. It's the weekend coming up, and it's another busy one. So hopefully you enjoy the show today.
Absolutely. And we're going to say a very good evening all the way from Denmark, first of all, to our friend of the show and panelist, it's Thomas.
Hej, god aften alle, og velkommen til.
Yeah, it slightly worries me when we have the Danish on, because they could say whatever the hell they like and we wouldn't have a clue, would they? Right, good to see you, Thomas. And we're going to say a very good evening to the King and Queen of ESC Fan TV. It's Phil and Michelle.
Good evening.
Hello.
We don't know any Danish.
No, it's all right.
It's all right. You can practice as we go on for tonight's journey across the 8 competing entries. We're going to go to Germany next and say a very good evening to Georgia.
Hi everyone, very excited to be talking about my neighbors today.
Exactly. Talking of neighbours, not just the neighbours by country, but also your neighbour on the show this evening. Very good evening to our incredible friend and panelist, Nicholas. How are you, friend?
Good evening. Rødgrød med fløde. And all that.
Again, no idea what he just said. Right. If you're new to the show, and we have 130 of you watching live right now, head on over to the chat room. We want to hear your thoughts as we go through tonight. The format is very simple. We're going to play you snippets of the 8 competing entries, and our panel are going to tell you what they think. We're also going to try to predict a winner. However, it's important that we hear from our chat room, and also for those watching on demand, click the like button, subscribe, please subscribe. Tell us what you think. You can write good stuff, you can write nasty stuff if you don't like it. That's absolutely fine. But that's the format. So we're going to start tonight's show off with our very first song. It's with a band called Confessions, and the song is Hallelujah. Let's take a listen.
Hallelujah, shout it to heaven, you're all I've waited for. I sing hallelujah, from now and forever, never felt like this before.
I really like that, actually. Hallelujah by Confessions. Confessions are 3 gospel talents, Laura, Tobias and Sarah. And they've been together all their lives, singing along as a trio. I guess you'd call that pure Scandi pop dance with a hooky chorus, people. Hand clapping moments. What more could Eurovision wish for? Let's find out what our panel think. Let's go straight to Nicholas. Nicholas, tell us a little bit about this, and what do we know about Confessions, and what are your thoughts on the song?
Yes, lovely that we're starting with this. This is definitely one of my favorites this year. They are definitely some newcomers. I haven't seen these around before, but I was just before we started the show, I was looking at the current odds for the show, and it seems like they have been, like, steadily from the beginning, they've been like top of the betting odds to win the show. And I can see why, because this is a very typical Dansk Melodi Grand Prix entry. I feel like I'm interested to see how they're gonna do it live, because it is this very typical style. Hopefully their vocals can hold up. I think it could win. There isn't maybe anything like too special about it. It's a typical radio song, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it could do well, and I'm excited to see. I think it'll definitely be among the top 3 at least.
Thank you, Nicholas. So it's interesting hearing from the band Confessions. They talk about going crazy on stage, which is kind of the point of the song. Do we think we're going to get some kind of weird and wonderful staging? Let's go to Joe for this question. What are your thoughts, Joe?
I do, Stu. I mean, I was just thinking about this song because you can just imagine, can't you, at Euro Club or any of the events that we go to, this comes up and everyone's there dancing away, shouting hallelujah at the top of their voices. And I think that's probably what they're going to do on the stage, is that they're going to have this fun factor, fun vibe. And I mean, does anybody know the running order? I suppose it's a bit early for the running order, isn't it? Because you can guarantee that this is either going to be an opener or a closer, can't you? Either way. Because can you imagine this being the opener and the whole arena alight? That's what I'm expecting from this particular song, definitely.
Thanks, Joe. I kind of get Ben and Tan vibes. When I heard that in the Dansk Melodi Grand Prix final of 2020, I thought, that's a guaranteed winner. I kind of get the feeling with this one, this is going to be up there, certainly. Thomas, what are your thoughts on this song? And how do we expect this to be staged?
Definitely chose one of the best songs tonight to start the show with. Hopefully they vocally can perform. I am a bit worried about his performance. I think in the studio version he sounds a little bit shaky in his voice. The two girls are absolutely stunning. I hope they can sing well live. I think they will perform it actually pretty quiet. I think they will mainly just stand there and maybe shake their arms a little bit, and I don't expect much of the staging.
Thank you, Thomas. Georgia, as a trio, we've seen a lot of trios in Eurovision down the years, and harmonies are absolutely essential. How important is it, do you think, that this really comes across well, not just from a vocal perspective, but also from an eye perspective? This has to work, having three on stage. They've got to get their angles right, and it just kind of has to come alive.
Yes, absolutely. I think being a trio as singers, it's pretty much the same as a trio in dance. It's incredibly difficult, and I think it's very easy to look odd. So I'm really hoping they're gonna stage this really well. To be honest, I didn't even know they were a trio. I just thought it was two. So very interested to see this. Yeah, no, I hope they can pull it off, especially with the vocals. It's not the strongest national selection, so even if their vocals aren't on par, they might slide through tomorrow, but then they won't stand a chance at Eurovision. So hopefully they can pull it together and perform it really well.
Thank you, Georgia. But it is uplifting. There is something quite magical about it. And I can kind of get behind it. The more I hear it, I thought, I say hallelujah. There's something about it that really kind of snaps, your fingers going. Phil and Michelle, can you get behind this entry? Can you see this as a potential Eurovision entrant for Denmark this year?
No.
You're not keen?
No, do you know what? I think it's all right. I think Joe was right. You'll hear this at the club and you'll go, yay, but that's about it, really. It sounds really nice. And as for the harmonising, I think we're all allowed backing tracks and everything, aren't we, again now? That'll be harmonised to death on the backing track.
True.
So, and I think they'll be clapping somewhere. I think they might slow it down and go, hallelujah, sort of thing. You always get a bit of gospel clapping with stuff like this. But I think it's good for the club. I don't think it's good for Eurovision.
Well, I liked it. It was nice. It's something you can dance to. I'm kind of hoping Thomas is wrong about the staging, because I think this needs something. It needs like a dance routine or something with it.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, we love a dance routine.
If they're just sort of standing there doing the backing singers side shuffle dance,
like that.
It's not gonna really stand out. But with a good bit of staging and a good dance routine, this could be okay.
Thank you very much. And I think so. I think potential there for Denmark as song one. Slightly concerned my panel think that's we've peaked early, but let's find out as we go through the next 7 songs. We're going to move on now, and this is where I ask one of my Danish panelists to help me out with the pronunciation so I don't butcher their language. So this is the band Var Engang. How am I supposed to pronounce that, Nicholas? Help me out.
The song or the band?
Both in this case, please.
Both. It is Var Engang with the song In Skønne.
What Nicholas said. Let's hear it. Let's take a listen. I rather like this, I have to say. It is a father and daughter duet, which you don't see often at Eurovision. Emma and her father Rasmus. Interestingly, Emma actually won the MGP junior competition back in 2014. So she's relatively well known in that sense. This is a lovely little, and lovely is probably the right word to use, ballad. Duet ballad between father and daughter, which I find quite magical. I wonder what my panel think. I'm going to go to Phil and Michelle first this time because we finished with them on the last song and I could tell they're raring to go. Guys, what did you think of this?
Well, it plods along all nicely and everything, doesn't it? But it's very one-paced. It's like, it just goes on and on and on for 3 minutes of the same pace. It sounds like, when you get a rom-com and there's a montage going on. This sounds like the theme tune to the montage in a rom-com to me. And now that I know it's father and daughter sort of singing slow and everything to each other, that's nice.
I quite like this. It was okay. It's a nice sort of gentle ballad, The simplicity of it sort of works. The only thing that I guess it's not really a criticism of this song, but there seem to be quite a few nice songs here that, which one do you pick? It's nice gentle song, there's other nice gentle songs. I don't know, it could get lost, that's the only thing.
I'm sticking with rom-com montage.
Fair enough.
Thanks, guys. But it's a song actually about things getting better, and I just wonder, with the last 2 years that we've had, whether this might be the best possible recipe and message for Denmark to send to Eurovision. Nicholas, you know a lot about MGP Junior, but also this is, in my opinion, one of the better songs in this competition of 8 songs. I love the stripped back vibe. Could this be the right type of entry for Denmark to send this year?
I do wonder how well it'll do with the public, because I feel like it's one of those, like, either you think it's really beautiful or you just kind of forget about it. I'm unfortunately more in the forget about it department, which is a shame because I do love Emma. I think she is a great artist, and I think I like this idea, right, that she's teamed up with her dad. They're doing this now. I think it is very nice. It is very cute, but I don't really feel like their vocals really fit that well together. It's just a little bit too distracting for me, I feel like, because their vocals are so different. And I think Phil and Michelle put it very well. It's a song that just kind of like goes on and on without really ever changing or doing anything. And for me, it just like, when I sit there, and I know it's a short show, it's only 8 songs, right? But when I sit and I've listened to all the songs and I think back to what kind of songs do I remember, I rarely ever remember the melody to this, just because it just gets forgotten in the bunch.
Thank you, Nicholas. It does. I suppose that's because it's stripped back, though. And as a father myself, I can think nothing better than actually to perform in my daughter. I'd be something quite magical about that. Georgia, I suppose this is never going to be the favourite going into a final, but can you imagine this coming off rather well on stage?
I can, actually, yeah. I think if they stage this quite intimate with just the 2 of them, and we can really feel that connection between them, then I could see this become a bit of a favorite just because it's so sweet, but it is very forgetful. I mean, I had this in my Spotify queue and I played like a coffee house playlist, and this came on like in between, and I didn't even realize at first until the end when I was like, that was not an English song. So I don't know, it doesn't really stand out to me. So maybe if they can stage it really, really well, they might stand a chance, but I don't see this doing too well. Maybe not bottom, but not a winner for me, no.
Thanks, Georgia. I feel like you and I are channeling the coffee and chill playlist vibes on Spotify. That's my go-to during the day as well. Thomas, what are your thoughts on this particular entry?
No. I made a deal with myself to find something positive about every song.
Good man.
And I struggle with it. Okay. The positive side, I like the lyrics. The positive vibe about the lyrics. And that's it. I think this is a song of father-daughter they should perform in a retirement home in a Sunday morning. I think it's sweet. I think it's nauseating sweet. I actually all the times I listened to it, I couldn't listen to it at the to the end. I have to skip it. I don't like it.
Thank you for your honesty, Thomas. That's perfectly fine. You know what? It's not for everyone, and I think that's fair. Joe, this is for me. Is it for you?
Not really, to be honest with you, Stu. I think, to be honest, though, I think it'll be with the voting public. I just have an absolute feeling that this one is going to win. And the reason being is because of the actual setup, the father-daughter, the fact that it's different, and you know I'm into different, and it is different. There's something sort of magical in a way. You know, it's going to resonate with the Danish public and the voting public. And I'm sure of it. And I just think this one is going to win at the end. And certainly not for me. It's probably my least favorite out of all of these. But at the end of the day, if it does, you know, I can see it doing really well at Eurovision, depending on where they go in the draw and everything. But
yeah, well, we've seen some stripped back entries do well at Eurovision.
Yeah,
but,
we have, and I think because it is father-daughter, there is something, even in itself, even that is something different, isn't it?
One for the family viewers, Joe. I
Yeah.
think one for the family viewers.
Let's say it's that.
Family voters and all that. Yeah. Okay, there's your first two songs done. Keep your comments coming in the chat room. Those in the chat room, make sure your voice is heard. Send us through your comments, your thoughts on what you think of these songs tonight. 2 down, another 6 to go. We're moving on now to something a little different. This is Fuld Effekt. That's very, very different, isn't it? Fuld Effekt with, well, Nicholas, how do you pronounce the name of the song?
This one is called Ravemedd, hårde, drenge.
Yeah, thank you, Nicholas, which translates as Rave with the Tough Boys. It's comprised of Zach Daddy, Beef Supreme, Spite or Spy Claws, and DJ Speaker. There you go, that's the 4. Seriously, that's what it says. It's rap and rave all in 3 minutes for your Eurovision listening pleasure. They are self-proclaimed good time guys, which I'm sure will go down well with the Eurovision crowd. Let's find out what our panel have to say. We're going to start with Georgia this time. Georgia, people can't see when the song's being played, but I can see what everyone's doing, and you were making the most, doing the most actions below, and you were kind of shaking your head and going a little bit crazy. Is this up your street?
Absolutely, this is my favorite. It's so fun. It's so different. It stands out in this show. I love it, and I don't even know why. I don't understand the thing. I've been trying to listen to the lyrics to get what it's about. I have no idea, but I don't care. It's such a fun song. I'm really curious about staging because I think it's very similar to a German band, and they do staging really well. But then it's also quite similar to, was it Austria 2014 with Boki mit dem Popo? And I also like that song, but staging killed it because that was too much and it gave the completely wrong impression of the song. So I really hope they can somehow, I don't know how, but maybe somehow they can pull off a staging that also draws in more like the family viewers and the older viewers, because I don't know, I kind of see this crash and burn because there's going to be too much on stage, but it's going to stay my favorite. I'm pretty sure of that.
Thank you, Georgia. Well, interestingly, Denmark are going to choose their entry via televote, which is a mixture of SMS and the Dansk Melodi Grand Prix app. So actually, this maybe does appeal to the right target market for this competition. I saw Phil and Michelle loving this. This is obviously going to be a Phil and Michelle favourite, so let's go to them for their views.
Well, I think you're really going to have to see this live to judge it.
This is going to be
It could either be a complete disaster or fantastic, but I think my money's going to be on fantastic.
I'm going hot mess.
Yeah. You can't possibly judge it till you see it live. A bit like, what was it, Reddi with Tattoo. You couldn't judge that until you saw it live.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this is going to be proper bonkers.
Oh, this reminds me of when I used to go and get off my tits in the late 80s, early 90s. And this is the sort of thing that I used to love. Couldn't be any more up my street if we tried. I'm just hoping that they come on in just play it serious. Come on and just play absolutely deadly serious and no messing about and just leave everyone going, what? That's exactly what I want. This is going to be awesome. This should win everything forever and ever.
I mean, in a year where we've had a lot of fun entries, this could be another one, couldn't it?
We need this. After the 2 years we've just had, this is what we need. We need it.
Yeah, but there's lots of fun entries already.
I don't like salad. I'm not having it. You can't make me. You don't get a body like this eating salad.
So interestingly, though, this is the kind of song where when you hear it first time around, unless you're used to this kind of sound, it does great on the ear, but on the second listen, actually your feet start popping to it. So I'm just interested how this might translate on stage. It's got to really, for me, it's got to have something quite special. Thomas, this I think it's fair to say in the chat room there's not a lot of love for this going on at the moment. What are your thoughts on this particular entry?
Not a lot from here either. Okay. The positive side first. I like the beat. I like the energy. I think the staging will be absolutely chaos. The guys will fly around, jumping up and down, being everywhere. And that's it. I absolutely hate. I don't use that word a lot. I absolutely hate the lyrics. I know they could be difficult for everybody else to understand, but no, I don't like the lyrics. I think the lyrics are degrading women in generally because they want to only party with the tough guys, with the bad boys who have big muscles and a BMW and big tattoos and yeah, Phil is the spitting image of that. I know. So this is absolutely my bottom.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for that comment. Joe, I'm coming to you for this because I know you love something a bit different. This is very, very different.
Yeah, it's no subwoofer, is it? Let's face it. Do you know what? It's one of these things, and I hate to say it, I really do. But it's sort of like all you can do is start thinking about it and start singing it. It is very, very memorable, isn't it? So right, and we've just listened to the clip, and it's in my head, and it'll be in my head even when you play all the other clips. So just for that alone, it is fun. Do I want it to win? No. Do you think do I want it to go to Eurovision? No. But do I think does it make me laugh every time I hear it? Yeah. And I'd like to know about the lyrics actually, because I need something to put me off it. So if I know about the lyrics and I know how degrading it is to women, then to be fair, I'd probably start hating it. But at the moment, I don't, unfortunately.
Well, it's got a wicked beat. I mean, you can't deny that, and it's really memorable. Yeah. It's memorable. Nicholas, you're always very knowledgeable when it comes to the voting side of these types of competition, and it always strikes me with Dansk Melodi Grand Prix, it targets a much younger generation than some other competition, with the fact that you encourage the use of the Dansk Melodi Grand Prix app. It's SMS voting, it's televote, and you don't have a jury system at all. It's all based on the viewers. Could you therefore see and make a case for this to potentially become the Danish entry this year?
I think it's interesting you bring that up, because I don't actually think, even with the SMS voting, this is not a youth program at all. If we look at something like Soldiers of Love, for example, how that won was because, and a lot of people see that wasn't the favorite of the fandom at all, but that was the older demographic who has watched Melodi Grand Prix way back in the 80s when it was still cool here, and they vote for that kind of music. They will absolutely be put off by this song. However, the younger demographic watching the show, because they hate Dansk Melodi Grand Prix, they hate Eurovision, they think it's a bunch of crap, there'll be 5 beers in, probably had some vodka and stuff as well, and they'll love this, because this song is everything that I hate about music. I am not an EDM fan at all. This kind of music was popular probably about 10 years ago. When I was a teenager, everyone was bobbing along to these songs about getting drunk and fucking in the back of a car, whatever they're singing in the song. I think it's absolutely horrible. The beat is horrible. The lyrics, I'm glad Thomas is here to actually talk about it, because I feel like he explained very well how this is. I don't think with Dansk Melodi Grand Prix being a family show, I don't get why this song is even allowed in there, because I think it's so degrading. It has a completely wrong message. I think, yes, they'll be fun on stage, but I think it'll be an absolute embarrassment if this goes on and win. And I've seen so much love for it all over the internet, and I don't get why, because I think, and I mean, at least if this wins, Higher Ground will no longer be my least favorite Dansk Melodi Grand Prix winner, because this song, I can't think of a single song that I've ever heard in the years that I've been following Dansk Melodi Grand Prix that I dislike as much as this. If this is among the eight best songs, I don't want to know what the other songs sent into the contest sounds like.
Thank you, Nicholas. So I think in general, if I was to summarise that, I would say that there's not a huge amount of love from our panel for this particular entry. So we're going to move swiftly on. This is our 4th entry of the show. This is the song, this is the song, Let Me Go.
Say this ain't going anywhere. You still call me when you're sad, and that ain't fair. But if you love me, if you really care, let me go, let me go.
I'm going to be honest now, this is the kind of song I'd expect from Dansk Melodi Grand Prix. I feel like you guys have this type of entry every single year. It's very traditional Danish Eurovision entry for me, personally. That's my take on it, at least. Josie, Elinor and Jack Warren are both singer-songwriters, met in a songwriting camp some time ago and have been writing and singing together ever since. It's a cute little mid-tempo pop ballad from Josie and Jack. To be honest, if you told me that Ronan Keating or Nicky Byrne had written this in the Irish selections, I probably would have believed you. That's kind of how it comes across to me. Yeah, let's find out what the panel think. Joe, this is definitely middle of the road. Definitely middle of the road. Kind of cute. I like it. I'm not big on it, but I like it and it's listenable. What are your thoughts?
Every time I listen to it, Stu, am I the only one that thinks it sounds like bake a cake? Bake a cake.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah? Is it just me that thinks that?
No, I can see that. I can see that.
Possibly. Anyway, yeah, it's it's just okay, isn't it? It's non-offensive. It's just nice, and it'll plod along, and it'll be next, please, and move on to the next one. Let's do a Gustav and go, yeah, next. I'm not a massive fan of this. I hope it doesn't win for the simple reason I think there are much better songs in this selection. Yeah, pretty inoffensive, pretty meh, really.
I think the lyrics are quite nice, though. I think it's well written from that sense, but it feels like something you've heard time and time again before, over the years.
Yeah, bake a cake all over. Yeah.
agreed. Georgia, do you get the same vibe, or could you see this as a potential winner on Saturday?
I mean, it would be a very safe choice because it's sung in English. They seem nice. The lyrics are quite beautiful, actually. So it's not a bad song. And I think it's just poppy enough to not fall into that coffee house background music. It's nice. I can kind of sing along with it, but it wouldn't do well at Eurovision, I don't think, because it's too vanilla. I don't know, it just needed something. So I don't want this to win either. I think there's much better or much more fun songs, at least.
Thank you, Georgia. Thomas, we've seen Denmark pick this type of song in the past. Certainly, quite recently, you know, we've seen these type of songs enter, not just for Denmark, but also other countries have a similar sort of have made a similar type of choice. Could you see this as a potential winner on Saturday, the 5th of March, I should clarify? Or do you feel that this might be a song that maybe contends but doesn't quite make it?
It definitely could win. It's the type of song the Danes just love. It's middle of the road. It's just nice. I just hope there is a very good connection between the two singers on stage, because that's what the song needs. If the chemistry isn't there between the two singers, it would totally crash and burn. If the chemistry is there, it could do well. It's a typical Danish entry, plain and simple, nice.
Thank you, Thomas. Just picking up on the chemistry point, that's a really good point. Nicholas, the song's about love and relationships. Now, do they have to get the chemistry just right? If you think back to 2020 when Ben and Tam took the stage, their chemistry on stage, I think, elevated that song significantly. That's right, Donna in the chat room elevates in tonight's show. How do they ensure they get the chemistry right? And is that important in this type of song?
I think it's super important, and I think what Ben and Tan had going for them was that they had been on X Factor, they were used to cameras, and they knew how to make this work. These are two people that haven't performed on television before, and you could be worried that they aren't used to performing like this. I believe it's the first song they've released together. It's a nice song, and picking up on the point with Ben and Tan, Benjamin is actually one of the writers on this song, and you can definitely tell because it is that very typical like singer-songwriter, easy listenable, radio-friendly kind of music that he's been writing ever since Dansk Melodi Gran Prix in 2020. So it's very much that kind of style. And yes, we've had a bunch of these songs win and do very well before, and I feel like if one of these songs that we're talking about tonight should come out as the surprise winner, this could be it, because it's a song that doesn't really divide anyone. It's the kind of song where if you turn on pretty much any local radio station in Denmark, this is the kind of song you will be hearing, because it is that very radio friendly, easy to listen to, easy to enjoy. That doesn't make it a bad song, but it also doesn't make it a competitive song. And this is a song contest after all, and we wouldn't make it to the final if this won. But it's nice. I'm glad it's there. I can listen to it. Probably won't remember it after I've listened to it a few times, but it's nice. I don't have anything bad to say about it. It's just a nice little song.
Thank you, Nicholas. And finally, Phil and Michelle, wrap this one up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I agree with everyone else. You know, it's nice. It's a nice, gentle ballad with a guitar backing.
She wants to split up with him and he wants to split up with her, but nobody wants to upset anybody ever. It's like the politest breakup song ever.
Well, that's it. It's just nice.
Just sit down and go, yeah, I don't really like you. And they go, oh, thank God for that. I don't like you either. There you go, job done. You don't need to write a song about it.
Having said that, it's safe. It's not going to, you know, if this got through to Eurovision, it's not a song you'd pick up the phone for.
I feel like I've heard it before, a lot of times. But if they got through to Eurovision, you know that one of my pet hates is people singing to each other, just looking at each other and singing like that. Oh, you just know that's going on the stage, and they're just going to be looking into each other's eyes.
But yeah, I was the same. I was thinking, what does this remind me of? And then Joe said Bake a Cake, and it is. It's that song again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a shame. I wanted to like it,
Yeah.
but I just didn't.
Well, you can't dislike it because,
I don't like it.
but you know,
I can do what I want.
all right,
Yeah.
fair enough. Well, there's nothing to dislike about it.
Well, I don't like you.
There's nothing to really, pick up the phone and vote for either. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
Michelle, if you don't like two singers standing that close to each other, singing into each other's eyes, you must have really disliked most of the Swedish entries from the early 2000s. That's all I'm going to say. Right, we're going to move on now to we're in the second half. It's the fifth song of the night. This is Juncker with Nicholas. The title, please.
I just need to find it. Kommet For, Blive.
Which translates as "Come to Stay." Let's take a listen.
It's still coming for go again, så gå. Hvis der er noget andet, du skal nå. I længden er det ene liv et kort.
Yeah, so Christian Juncker with the song that Nicholas very kindly pronounced for us a second or two ago. He's actually quite well known. 6 albums behind him already, and it's if this was in English, I'd be absolutely sure that this was something from the UK music scene in the mid-90s. It's very indie vibes, Britpop for me, and that's where I'm going first. Phil and Michelle, you're up first. What are your thoughts?
I actually quite like this. I don't know why. There was something about it. I just really liked it. The only thing I don't like, obviously, is the fact that he's whistling at the beginning. It's like, what's that about?
oh, who doesn't like a bit of whistling?
No,
There's nothing wrong with some whistling.
Said nobody ever. Yeah, it's like, no, nobody likes whistling. I don't know why I liked it. I can't explain why I liked it, but I couldn't turn it off. I had to listen to it all the way to the end. I've no idea why.
It's nice. Again, nice. But
it was slightly different.
it was slightly different.
Yeah.
It's one of those songs that could come from any decade. I mean, you could even imagine this coming from the 70s,
No, but nobody remembers the 70s apart from you.
Well, there we go. But it's, it is nice. It stands out from the others a bit more, but maybe a bit dated.
I really liked it. I obviously, yet again, I don't know why, but I would spend 20p on voting for it.
Ooh.
I think it's quite relatable, actually. I mean, I obviously I have no idea what he's singing about, other than what I've read. But I think as a melody, it's quite warm. You can get behind it. It's nice.
Yes, it's really nice. Yeah.
Thank you, Phil and Michelle. Joe, this must be right up your street. I mean, it definitely feels like Britpop. It's definitely something that I can get behind, and I would have gone and bought if it was in English back in. I'm not saying I wouldn't buy music in Danish, by the way, but when it was back in the chart, back in the 90s and the early 2000s, this was kind of the sound in the UK. Maybe they could argue, and by definition, it's dated, but there's something kind of cool about it, right?
There is. Do you know Verb? The Verve is probably
Verve, yes.
Yeah, that sort of like the Bittersweet Symphony and that album. I can't remember. I've got it somewhere. And yeah, it wouldn't sort of it wouldn't be displaced on that album, would it? It'd be really good. I love it. I really do. It's got this can be a country rock, nice little vibe, as you say, very 90s. And yeah, I would have this on the playlist, no problem at all. Will it win? I don't know. If it weren't, I would support it, absolutely. Is it gonna? Probably not, but he's not a bad guy, is he? I might listen to his back track actually, some of his back albums. See if I actually like his music and carry on playing them. Really.
Thanks, Joe. It seems to be quite a lot of love for this in the chat room. Actually, it seems to be relatively popular. Thomas, what are your thoughts on this particular entry? Is this one that tickles your fancy?
No, it's nice. It's again a nice ballad, inoffensive, radio friendly, all that. In my head, I think he is in the competition mainly because he's written the theme song to one of the most popular Danish travel shows in history. I can only see when he sings. I can only see a sailboat around around Denmark, because that's what the travel show was about, a family sailing. It's the only thing I can see before me. It's okay.
Thanks, Thomas. Nicholas, clearly popular. Well, it's arguably the most well-known artist in this selection. Do you think that could stand him in good stead when it comes to the voting?
Definitely the most well-known. I'd say that, yes. And I think he fills the same spot that Mike Tramp did last year, which is this, let's try to get someone in that isn't just a young upcoming artist that the young people will relate to, but actually someone for the little bit of an older crowd that enjoys this kind of music, that listens to the kind of radio station that plays this kind of music. And I think it's good that we have that, because sometimes even for a young person like me, Eurovision can get a little bit too young, in a sense, that it seems like you cannot be older than 25 at this point if you want to participate on the Eurovision stage. So it's nice to have this. I can almost rewind back to what we talked about with Josie and Jack before, because I feel like it to some extent the song kind of does the same. It's nice, it's radio, and there's nothing inherently wrong about it. And I can understand why people, especially on their first listen, will bob along to this song, because it does have that familiar sound, right? It has, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, I feel like this is a kind of song and the kind of sound that's very familiar to most people. And I do think it'll get some votes for that. Maybe even scrape itself into the top 3. I don't think it stands a chance of winning, even with him being popular, because I feel like even him being a fairly well-known name, the people who are going to be watching the show might not actually, like the fans of his that'll be watching the show, there might not be that many of them. But again, it's a nice song. I feel like I say that about a lot of these, but it is because a lot of these songs are fairly inoffensive. But it's nice, and I think no matter like how he does in the contest, this is going to be played a lot on the radio here for sure. Thanks,
Nicholas. By the way, it's okay to be nice. It's like, this is probably the nicest we've been about any national selection so far this season. So that's a positive thing. Seriously. Georgia, what are your thoughts on this particular entry? Wrap this up.
See, I really wish you would have asked me as like one of the first 2, because I already forgot about it. I can't remember how the song goes.
Yikes.
And it's been an issue because I've listened to the songs multiple times over the last couple of days, and I just keep forgetting it's there, and then I'll listen to it again a couple hours later and I'm like, okay. No, and then I forget about it. So I don't know. I mean, I can't say anything because I think he's nice. I saw like a quick video of him at some point and I was like, okay, yeah, he looks like a nice guy. So that's all I can say.
No problem. Well, good luck to Juncker. That's your 5th song of the night. We're moving on now to the 6th one. This is Happy Go Lucky by Morten Philipsen. So that was Morten Philipsen, who also has a connection with Junior MGP, which he competed in 20 years ago. God, that's a long, long time. And this is his celebration. So basically his 20th anniversary, taking part in Melodi Grand Prix 2022. Dansk Melodi Grand Prix, not to be confused with Norwegian's Melodi Grand Prix. Up-tempo, uplifting. No, it's not. It's uplifting mid-tempo pop is what it is. It's not uplifting. It's up-tempo. I can't even say the right words right now. It's all gone to pot. But uplifting mid-tempo pop. In Danish, by the way, even despite the fact that the title is Happy Go Lucky. It's a good song. I like it. I think, again, it probably comes under that nice category. But it's fun, and I wonder what he's going to do on stage. Nicholas, you get to start this one off. It's a song about reminding us to be more positive and carefree. And do you think he'll translate that into the staging?
I think he will, and I think it is that happy song that we need in these times. I just want to start off by saying that I'm very excited to see him participate, because you just said it. It's been 20 years since he was on the junior MGP stage, and I've just turned 25. So you can imagine the little boy jamming along to his song when he took part in the junior MGP back there. It's one of those junior MGP songs that I keep coming back to. I've always been a fan of his. Haven't really heard any of his like newer music, but seeing him in Dansk Melodi Grand Prix, never thought it was gonna happen, but very excited for it actually. I think it's a nice little song. I've been kind of going back and forth with myself trying to figure out if this or Hallelujah is my favorite, but I do actually think this one is my favorite because I like the happy energy. It's a song that makes you get up and dance and have a good time. I think it's a lovely song about embracing life and getting back into feeling happy, deciding that after these bad years we've had, it's time to just like get out there, be happy, and enjoy life to the fullest. And I fully stand behind that. I think it's a wonderful message to have, and I think he's gonna light up the whole Boxen on the show. Everyone's just gonna be jamming along in the audience, I can imagine, and I do think he could do quite well because of that.
Thank you, Nicholas. I agree, actually, and I could see this as the most likely winner of the 8. I think it's got everything going for it that a Eurovision winner in Denmark should need. It's uplifting, it could be fun on stage. He's obviously a really good singer as well. Georgia, I'll come to you second so you remember this one. What are your thoughts on this particular entry?
Well, I do remember this one. It's okay. I almost find it a bit annoying at times. I don't know. It's almost too forced with the "I'll go happy, lucky, happy." I don't know. I can see the appeal, and I think if he can perform it well and get that feeling across, it can be a real mood lifter and therefore be a contender for the win. But it's definitely not my favorite or anywhere near my top, because it's just something about it. I think this is the song that I skip the most, probably, out of the 8, just because the other one I keep forgetting it's there and then it's over. But this one's just, it annoys me for some reason.
Thank you, Georgia. It's interesting, in the chat room, people are saying that it's one of the most current in the selections, and some remember him back 20 years ago. I suppose it is one of the more current ones, but there is a slightly nostalgic vibe to it, I would say. I can sort of recall something similar kind of going on in the 90s. It takes you back, but yet it still somehow maintains its current vibe. Phil and Michelle, what are your thoughts on this particular song?
Yeah. It's nice. Again, another nice mid-pace, pleasant.
We should get your name changed from Phil and Michelle to Nice and Michelle.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's just...
That implies that I'm horrible.
You said it, not me.
Well, no, there's just nothing to dislike about it, but it's just pleasant, you know.
I liked it. I thought it had a summery vibe. I can imagine being beached on like a whale on a beach with me margarita in one hand, listening to this, thinking this is nice and summery and smooth. I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
I thought it was all right.
But you know, it's not going to make you go wow, is it? That's the thing.
Don't know, it depends what you're doing at the time.
Yeah.
Depends what you're doing on that beach. Might do.
Definitely has got a summery vibe. Thank you, Phil and Michelle. Thomas, are you old enough to remember Morten from 20 years ago? And can you see this as your potential entry for Denmark this year?
I can remember him, and I also think a lot of girls at my age will vote for him, because I think every girl in Denmark at that age had a huge crush on him. I have to say, we always complain about when the songs are too repetitive. Now I think we are too repetitive. We always say the songs are nice, and I agree, it's nice. It's inoffensive. I like the lyrics. I like the positive vibe in the lyrics, that we should all be happy and always, because let's face it, we have been in a dark hole the last 2 years, and now it's getting a bit brighter, and then we should go and live our lives again and just be happy.
Thank you, Thomas. And Joe, wrap this one up.
Yeah, a little bit of a guilty pleasure for me, this one. I rather like this one. You know me. I mean, I'm not sort of usually into the little dance tracks, you know, a bit of sweet vibes and all that sort of thing. And I actually really, really like this. There's just something about it. I think it is to do with the fact that it's got that, as you said, it's got that slight dated feel, but in a modern way. And I do think to myself, you know, this could easily have fitted in 20 years ago into what we liked, and you know, and even into Eurovision in the 80s. And of course, that was my big thing. I loved Eurovision, especially in the 80s. So yeah, I like this, and I would absolutely love to see him win. Because, you know, and then him coming all over to the pre-parties and everyone meeting him and you know, dancing to the song and getting the vibes. Yeah. We'll have a bit of Morten, though. We like him.
Neil makes a good point. It's very current, yet we remember him from 20 years ago. Well, you know, fair point, Neil. Fair point. Point well made. And Anita says Thomas, he was cute. Well, it sounds like Joe, you just want him to win so that you can meet him in the pre-parties, and I think I know why. Anyway, we're moving on to the seventh song of tonight. This is Patrick Dorgan with Nicholas.
Why do I keep forgetting what the song's called? It says a lot about the interest, doesn't it? Patrick Dorgan with Vinden.
Thank you, which translates as The Wind is Blowing. Let's play the next record. There you go. There's your seventh review. And Patrick is another Danish artist who's been around a little while. Been around about a decade or so. This is, I would say, a ballad in the kind of realm of a John Lundvik vibe in Sweden. It's very similar. It's very gospel. Look at Michelle making those funny faces. Look, I am expecting great vocals from Patrick. Let's start with Phil and Michelle. To be fair, this is the only real ballad in the selection. So if you like ballads, this is for you. If you don't like ballads, you've got plenty to choose from.
It's not a proper ballad. There's no key change or anything. There's no big finish. It doesn't build up to a big finish or anything. It just goes at one level all the way through. Doesn't deviate, and then finishes.
I think he's got a lovely voice, but I just found this song rather forgettable. It just never really gets going. It just sort of plods along for me.
Yeah.
Compared to some of the others.
I waited for it to kick in. Yeah, normally you get a bit of it.
build up to something.
A bit of a kick in. It builds up to nothing.
It just sort of.
And then stops.
Yeah.
Thank you. But it's got I think it's got a nice gospel feel to it. Georgia, what are your thoughts?
I have to agree. I think it just goes nowhere. It starts out quite nice, and then you kind of listen to it and go like, okay, come on, give me something, and then it's over, and you're like, oh, okay, that was that. His vocals are very nice. I think if he can pull them off on stage, he would have a big jury appeal, but since there's no jury, I don't know. I don't think that's going to be enough. If it went to Eurovision, then again, I think with juries, it would be quite popular. And there's nice parts in it. It's just missing something, and I can't see him performing it that well to kind of make up for the lack of something happening, really.
Thank you, Georgia. Thomas, is there an argument to be said that this artist, Patrick, might have the best vocal of the night come next Saturday?
I think he has. He reminds me of Jakob Sveistrup in 2005. I think the sounds is very similar. I actually like this song. I think it's one of the best songs in the selection. I absolutely love the lyrics. I was listening to the songs, trying to make my notes, and I just listened to the lyrics. I think it's lyrics almost everyone can relate to. It's this unhappy, unrepaid love. He wants the girl, and she doesn't love him as much as he loves her. I think that's a theme almost everyone can relate to. I like this one. This is in my top 3.
Thanks, Thomas. And Nicholas, another singer that's been around a while. I think he's also done a duet in the last 7 or 8 years with the lead singer of Alphabeat. So he's been around a little bit, and I kind of see this vocal as being one of the strongest, certainly based on the playlist so far. Perhaps can deliver this live. What are you expecting from Patrick on Saturday week?
Definitely someone with a lot of experience, both doing live gigs but also being on television. This is the only artist that from like the selection that I do actually regularly listen to, because I've been a fan of his for a few years, and I like his stuff. He has a great back catalog for anyone who wants to go and listen to that. Definitely do it, because he has some great songs that he's released in the past. This isn't my favorite of his songs, but I think it's actually a quite nice song. He usually sings in English, and I think his vocals just suit English music better. I think he loses a little bit of that signature sound that he very much has when he switches to Danish, but it is interesting to hear him sing in Danish for once. He definitely has a great vocal, and I've seen him live before, so I know that he can actually sing live. And I feel like when it comes to ballads, DR aren't the best at doing like great ballad staging, so I am a little bit worried there. But if they could pull off a beautiful ballad staging, I don't think it's gonna win. I don't think it has a chance of winning, but I do think it'll be at least a memorable performance and something we will remember for years to come. It's this nice kind of easy listening song that you can put on in the background, and like we've also talked about, it does actually have some very nice lyrics, and it is this thing where at least I feel like oftentimes when an artist have usually sung in English and they switch to Danish, you really start to get more emotions in their songs, because it's just a lot easier to talk about love and big topics like this when you use your native language, I feel like.
Thank you, Nicholas. And Joe, final points from you, please.
Yeah, I mean, when I first listened to this, I went back to the 90s to a singer called Kenny Lubka, and I just think he sounded a little bit like Kenny Lubka, who did the duets in '94 with Lottie Nielsen for Denmark. And I remember a song that he sang on the album called Hold Fast. I'm sorry for the pronunciation, but it just reminded me of the way he sang that song. So of course I love that album and I love those singers. So and I do actually think that this is why I've suddenly liked it. And I do think he reminds me, he's a really, really good singer. He's an absolutely fabulous singer. As you say, whether he'll win is another, I don't know. But yeah, I really like the song a lot.
Thank you, Joe. So one final song. This is your final this is Reddi with the song The Show. Let's take a listen. So, Nicholas, this actually starts off as a ballad and then suddenly just launches into rock pop, very Scandi rock pop. Absolutely love everything about this one. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so this is this year's Chief 1 entry. Some may remember Chief 1 from last year, but he's taken part as a songwriter in Dansk Melodi Grand Prix many times, and this is another one of his entries. He was one of the songwriters behind Should Have Known Better back in 2012, and some might actually remember the drummer in Should Have Known Better is actually part of this group. They are a new girl group that has been formed recently, I think mainly for taking part in Melodi Grand Prix here. I think this had the potential to be a fabulous song, and this had the potential to be a winner. but I just feel like the song is just lacking something, and I can't really put my finger on it, but I feel like there's just something in that rock and instrumental that doesn't quite feel like, it doesn't feel like it's like mixed properly. It doesn't feel like there's been put like that much love into the song, which is a shame, because if this really had the power that it needed, it's a great like a breakup lyrics. It has that thing. It has the potential to be powerful, and I could imagine this on stage like really being one of those acts that could get the crowd going. But it just, in the end, it just falls a little bit flat for me, and I don't think this is gonna win. It is up there in the bookmakers as one of the favorites. I believe it is second or third favorite. But I just think it's missing something, and I've seen people talk about with a revamp this would be great, but it's Dansk Melodi Grand Prix. We don't do revamps. It's not a thing that exists here in our vocabulary. So I don't think this is this won't be the one getting the ticket to Turin. But it's all right. But yeah.
Thank you, Nicholas. There is kind of a 70s rock chick vibe going on. Phil and Michelle, is this one for you?
Well, the thing is, when I first heard this song, it starts off and it's like my biggest nightmare of a whiny female ballad, and I was just about to give up on it about a minute in, and suddenly it kicks into this brilliant indie rock song, and I'm like, where did that come from? So yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic 2/3 of a song.
Thank you very much, Michelle.
I liked it, so alright, yeah.
That was good. Good entry. Georgia, I don't know when this is going to be played on Saturday, the 5th of March, but this has such impact when it kind of kicks in. Could you imagine this being Denmark's entry this year?
I don't know. I think the problem is that the first minute is so boring, and it sounds so similar to all the other slower songs that I fear a lot of people, depending on where this is in the running order, will just kind of go like, ugh, okay, another one of those, and go and get a drink, and then they'll come back and have like the last bit where it's like a really good song, but they've missed it because it starts off so boring. I don't know why they couldn't have just 3 minutes of that rock sound and not that stupid first minute. It just ruins the whole song. Like, this probably would have been my favorite if not for that beginning. I don't know. I also don't think that the two sounds kind of go well. I think it's too drastic of a change. So I don't know. I don't see this doing too well because it's just confusing, really.
Thank you, Georgia. And Thomas, could this be your entry, do you think, for Eurovision 2022 in Turin?
It definitely could. I totally agree with the first minute. The first minute should only have last 15 or 20 seconds, and then they should kick in the pace. Because when the rock kicks in, it's just amazing. A slight fear could be that the drummer will steal the show, because she is absolutely amazing. So maybe the drummer will be in focus and not the singer. But if that is the case, fine by me. It's one of my favorites.
Thank you, Thomas. I think what we're going to do now, we're going to go around the panel and ask the panel who they think is going to be the winner on Saturday the 5th. And I'm going to come to you, Joe. I would like your potential winner for Dansk Melodi Grand Prix.
Probably Reddi, to be honest. I think that'll go through.
Thank you, Joe. Phil and Michelle, who would you think will win?
I'm going to go with 2/3 of Reddi.
Fuld Effekt.
Fuld Effekt. I kind of thought you were going to go there, to be honest. Georgia, who would be your winner?
I mean, do you have to ask? It's obviously the Rave song.
Fuld Effekt. Thank you very much. So 2 for Fuld Effekt. Nicholas, who are you going for?
I think Confessions will take it, for the simple reason that I don't believe we're progressive enough to choose Fuld Effekt, and I really hope we aren't progressive enough to do it.
And finally, Thomas, who are you going to pick?
I'm going to pick Reddi, but I think Confessions will win.
Thank you very much. To my panel, what a great show. There you go, 8 songs from the Melodi Grand Prix in Denmark, which takes place next Saturday. I'd like to say a huge thank you to each of my panel. I'd like to say thank you to Georgia.
Very welcome. I'm very much looking forward to the show now, actually.
Yeah, me too. Big thank you to Phil and Michelle.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's been great again.
Yeah, looking forward to the show.
I know. The title of this video will be Nice. Big thanks to Thomas.
Tak for i aften. Thanks for having me.
Huge thank you to Joe.
Thank you, everyone, and love to all.
And finally, last but not least, big thank you to Nicholas.
Thank you. Lovely to talk about the nice Melodi Grand Prix.
Yeah, nice. Make sure you stay tuned on ESC Fan TV. Click the like button, subscribe, let us know what you thought of tonight's show. We're back on Sunday, 9 p.m. Central European Time to talk Melfest. Of course, it's Melfest Sunday. I'd like to say a huge thank you to everyone in the chat room. Sorry I've not been as talkative. Usually one of us is co-hosting or hosting, the other one's co-hosting in the chat room. So thank you for bearing with us. Thank you for your comments, and we will see you on Sunday. Bye-bye for now.